Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Everett's missing father memories. Holly's secret makes a mess for Tate. Days of Our Lives reveals that Julie Williams tried to put in a good word for Everett Lynch since she believed he truly loved Stephanie Johnson, but Stephanie put Julie's attention back on their work at the damaged Horton house. At the cantina. On Day's occasion, Chad DiMera picked up his to-go order and mentioned that he was helping Julie and Stephanie at the Horton house moment. Roman Brady decided to tag on and offer another brace of hands. Chad brought Roman over on with some food for Stephanie and Julie, so they were appreciative. Julie also mentioned that if anyone set up a key while sorting through what was salvageable, also it could potentially be used to open the time capsule. In a private moment on Wednesday's DOL show, Chad asked Stephanie where effects stood with Everett. It was hard for Stephanie to open up about that due to her former relationship with Chad, but she was glad Marlena Evans was helping Everett with his memory recovery charge. Stephanie was also happy that she'd set up a path to fellowship with Chad, so they participated in many laughs while recalling an old Six Flags trip with the kiddies. At the sanitarium, Marlena saluted Everett in her office and verified that Everett was still the name he was going by. Everett sounded irked as he claimed that's who he was. Marlena demurred off the remedy session and began asking Everett questions about his foremost knowledge recollections, so he recalled his kind mama incinerating him a racecar birthday cutlet when he was about 3. After Everett said he hadn't allowed about his mama in a long time, he declined to dig deeper on that content for now. Everett claimed he was drawing a total blank on his father and asked if Marlena allowed. That was because of his traumatic brain injury, so she assumed that was the case. Marlena got Everett to partake what happened when he first woke up in the sanitarium and asked if he gave Everett Lynch as his name. Everett formerly again sounded frustrated over the dubieties about his identity. When Marlena looked at Everett's old records, she set up that his full name was Robert Everett Stein and that his mama's demoiselle name was Lynch. Everett sounded taken suddenly over that development, so Marlena ultimately gave him the option to end the remedy session since there was a lot to take in. Marlena wanted to try hypnotism as their coming session, so Everett got on board since she allowed. It might help. Everett entered the card for his forthcoming appointment and headed to the Horton house after entering Stephanie's textbook. Meanwhile, Chad told Stephanie that was there for her anytime she wanted to open up or just hang out, so she gave him a clinch. Everett witnessed the grasp as he walked by, so he left without being seen and looked reflective as portentous music played outdoors. In the city forecourt on Wednesday's Day's occasion, Brady Black ran into Nicole DiMera and heard about Holly Jonas waking up from her coma. Brady was relieved to hear that Holly was alert and talking again, especially since he allowed. This would be good news for Tate Black. Nicole admitted Holly was fuzzy on what happened back on New Year's Eve, but she said the medicines were hers. Brady defended Tate since he would have cured a girl to try and force himself on her. Although Brady wanted a chance to speak with Holly himself, Nicole shut down the idea. The focus had to be on Holly's recovery, so Nicole said perhaps they could all sit down and talk once her son was stronger. At the DiMera Manse on Wednesday's Day's occasion, Nicole brought Holly donuts from Sweet Bits and offered updates on her run heft with Brady. When Holly realized Nicole allowed the medicines came from Tate, she claimed they didn't. Holly didn't know why Nicole would indeed suppose that, but Nicole didn't see where differently they would come from. After Holly flashed back to offering Tate the medicines and getting turned down, she came flustered and told Nicole she didn't know. That said, Holly maintained that Tate was innocent and rushed upstairs. Back with Brady, he paid Tate a visit at his halfway house and mentioned Holly waking up from her coma. Tate was worried to learn Holly was hazy on what happened, so he realized it was his word against hers. At the Salem PD, Sarah Horton brought Victoria Horton Cook for a visit with Xander Cook, who was discouraged after being locked up for so long. Still, Xander was pleased to see Victoria along with Sarah, who refocused out Harris Michaels was awake. Although Harris hadn't cleared Xander's name yet, he also hadn't refocused the cutlet at him. Sarah assured Xander of her belief in his innocence and promised she would go back to live at their apartment until he was free. That led to some talk about the crowded karaoke's manse, so Xander wanted Sarah and Victoria to keep their distance from Constantine Malionis, too. Teresa switches Tate's lawyer, Eric quizzes Holly, babysitter Leo. Days of Our Lives reveal that Ava Vitale will have another secret meeting with Steve Johnson and John Black, so they go over their captivity break plot details. Clyde Weston is demanding escape help, so Ava has signed John and Steve for backup on this charge. It could be the only way to save Trip Johnson and Wendy Shin as far as Ava's concerned. Of course, Wendy and Trip are in indeed further peril than Ava realizes, since Officer Goldman closed the reflections on them. Days spoilers say Trip and Wendy will begin to run out of air before the week's over, so they trade marriage vows as they prepare for the end. It's clear that Wendy and Trip need to get saved ASAP, so they hold out stopgap for good news. In the meantime, Leo Stark will land on babysitting duty since Sloane Peterson will be busy with work and Eric Brady will want to pay Holly Jonas a visit. You can go. Sloane will be irked and uneasy over Leo watching Jude Brady, but she supposedly yield and let him do it anyway. Coming on Thursday's DOL occasion, Days spoilers say Teresa Donovan will change Justin Kiriaki's out for a more aggressive counsel. It'll be Sloane who steps up as Tate Black's attorney, so she share some shocking strategies to get Tate off the hook. Other Days spoilers say Eric will get some updates from Nicole DiMera before turning his attention to Holly, who should appreciate the unanticipated visit. Eric may get the feeling that Holly is being fully honest about how much she remembers. This might be a good occasion for Eric to quiz Holly and nudge her down the path of honesty. Days of Our Lives just revealed Everett's true identity indeed, as Blake Barris warns against waking the sleeping giant. Eventually, we getting some Everett Answers on Days of Our Lives. And they courtesy, naturally, of Dr. Marlena Evans. She and Everett had their first session on Wednesday's occasion, and if it's any suggestion, we going to get some explosive exposures during Remedy. First out, Marlena did some digging and learned who Everett really is. It turns out that he and Bobby don't just partake DNA and fingerprints, but an factual name. He was born Robert Everett Stein Lynch, it turns out, was his mama's demoiselle name. Deidre Hall. Marlena phone office. Days of Our Lives set NBC Studios Burbank 07/30/18 copyright XJ Johnson /tpastudios.com 310-657-9661 episode #13521 U.S. Airdate 01/30/19 and along those lines, Everett only remembers his mama. He's got no recollection of his father. Though Marlena assured him that it could probably be from the traumatic brain injury and the coma, we've a feeling it's a huge indication. Because if we going with the split personality proposition, that could be the entire reason there's Bobby and Everett. His pater could have been a horrible person who traumatized and hurt Everett. Sponsored links. New mobile stair lifts bear no installation brightlifeitaly.com. Or rather, he could have hurt Bobby. He'd have taken the mass of it, himself turning into a terrible person, while Everett got to go about life with happy recollections of his mama, trying to right the wrongs of the world with his journalism. However, it would feel that Bobby is the true personality and Everett the alter, but it might not be the case, if that was what happened. The name change could have also been simply because his parents got disassociated and Everett went to live with his mama. He participated a last name with her, rather of his pater. As far as Everett, going by your middle name isn't all that unusual. Lots of folks prefer their middle names to their first names. Everett glares outside the burned Horton house. Still, Bobby could have been created to take the mass of them if there were problems with his pater. But all that may be questionable, because anyhow of where Bobby fits with Everett, it sounds like we really don't want to meet him. That's not just from what Jada's participated, but when Blake Barris spoke with Michael Fairman, he dropped an portentous tease. You have all these characters sort of trying to wake up the sleeping giant in a way, he explained. I suppose it's safe to say that if you poke a bear, the bear might wake up. Sleeping mammoth? Bear? Those aren't exactly reassuring ways to describe what's coming our way as the folks of Salem try to get to the bottom of Everett and Bobby.